Hello and welcome to Lake, a show about our beautiful city of Bellevue. I'm your host, Robin Steele. We're coming to you from Bellevue City Hall, and on today's show, we'll share with you some reflections from our newly re-elected mayor and deputy mayor. We'll take you to the swearing in of Bellevue's new police chief. And our city's emergency manager will help us all be a little more prepared in case of emergency. We start with a conversation with Mayor Lynn Robinson and Deputy Mayor Jared Neuenhaus. They were both just selected by their fellow council members to serve second terms as mayor and deputy mayor, and I had the opportunity to talk with them about some of the city council's many recent accomplishments and about their vision for Bellevue's future. Mayor and Deputy Mayor, thanks very much for talking with us today. You were both recently re-elected to your positions, and I wanted to find out what made you want to be re-elected and what are you most hoping to accomplish this year? And Mayor, I guess I'll start with you.
Well, this is my 9th year on the council and my 2nd year term serving as mayor, so my 3rd year. And I think I was attracted to be on the council just because of the responsiveness of the city. I had been involved in a variety of projects with the city and with the council, and I was always so impressed, and I just kind of wanted to be a part of that.
And how about you, Deputy Mayor? How long have you served on council, and why did you want to seek re-election?
Well, thanks, Robin. Yeah, it was just an amazing experience to be re-elected for a second time to the Bellevue City Council. So going into my 2nd term or 5th year, and going into my 3rd year as being deputy mayor. And much like the mayor, have such a strong love and admiration for this city and its residents. And you know, for me, I want to also ensure that Bellevue remains committed to its ideals and values that have made this such a special place to live, work, and play.
So over these 9 years, what accomplishments are you personally most proud of?
I'd have to say Highland Village, you know, preserving that community and all the children and their families and keeping them in our Bellevue community was really important. And it was such a great combination of effort from the state, the county, our agency partners and human service organizations. It was a lot of people coming together.
Top of mind, some of the things that I'm really proud of working on over the last 4 years is fully funding our first responders, balancing a budget despite a $32 million shortfall due to the pandemic, passing and being a champion for programs such as our ESI, our Environmental Stewardship Initiative, and also our MFTE program, which is our multifamily tax exemption, which is set to create thousands of affordable housing and workforce housing in Bellevue. Those are some of the things I'm most proud of over my first term.
What do you see as Bellevue's biggest challenges over the next few years, Deputy Mayor?
Well, I think some of our biggest challenges will be affordable housing as we continue to see skyrocketing prices for homes and apartments in our city, as well as transportation. With our growth, we've got more folks coming into the city every single day, and along with that is maintaining our level of services as we continue to grow as a city. Public safety being chief among them, want to make sure that we continue to fully fund our first responders and that we maintain a very high level standard for public safety.
I think, you know, the challenge of guiding growth. You can't stop growth. Growth is happening all over the region, but guiding it and making it work for our city, that's going to be the challenge, but I think we're up to the task and a lot of very smart people are working on that.
How long have you lived in Bellevue, and do you remember why you chose Bellevue, and what do you like most about the city?
I've lived here 25 years, and our family, we moved here when the kids became school age, like a lot of people, and we were very attracted by the public school system. And I think, you know, it's such a beautiful city. Everywhere you go, there's so much beauty here. I think we have over 3,000 acres of parks and open space and trails, and it's amazing. You can go somewhere new every day.
And how about you, Deputy Mayor? How long have you lived in Bellevue, and what do you like most about the city?
Well, I've lived in Bellevue now since 2001 in the Lake Hills area. And what I love about the city the most is its diversity. I love nothing more than walking around the downtown park or Lake Larson and hearing 7 to 8 different languages in a matter of minutes. We have so many wonderful parks and restaurants, shopping, and the incredible residents is really what makes this city so special, and the unique quality of all of our neighborhoods in the city as well, which is really what I call the soul of Bellevue, is our neighborhoods.
So the council's worked together to meet some really big challenges, particularly over the last 2 years. The council seems really united. Why do you think that is, and how effective do you think this particular council is?
I think this council is very effective. We're tackling some very tough issues and pivotal issues, and I think the council is doing a really good job. And I think I attribute the success of this council to the fact that everybody's very smart, very committed to the city, and there's a respect for each other. We don't always agree, but we have a respect for each other that I think carries the day.
Well, similar to what the mayor said, I think first and foremost, every council member wants to do what's best for this city at the end of the day. So while we bring different thoughts and opinions and different backgrounds and experiences to the council, we all want what's best for Bellevue, and because of that, we collaborate very well.
Is there anything else you want people to know about you personally or about your commitment to the city?
I guess just that I come at it from a healthcare perspective. And in healthcare, you don't judge people. You know, you don't decide who you want to treat or who you don't. You give everybody your best effort, and I would say I bring that to the city council position. We all serve at large, so we serve the entire city, and I'm always just trying to do my best for everybody here.
Finally, what is your personal vision for Bellevue's future?
I think my vision is that we retain all the things that brought us here to begin with. You know, the excellent schools, the high public safety, the beautiful parks, the strong economy. All those things that make you want to live here, we need to retain. And then I think there's things we can improve upon. We can improve our transportation. We can improve, you know, the character of the city can be more welcoming. And that's one of our council goals. And every decision that we make from here on, I think, should be sustainable and equitable. And so with those things at the forefront, I think we're going to do very well into the future.
Thank you very much for sharing your vision and your experiences with us today. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you again, Mayor Robinson and Deputy Mayor Neuenhaus. Next, we introduce you to another leader in our city, our new police chief, Wendell Shirley. Chief Shirley was hired as assistant police chief and has served as interim chief since last summer. He's a 26-year veteran of law enforcement who's pledged to serve Bellevue through community engagement and transparency. Here's a look at his official swearing-in ceremony.
And today I'm really excited to announce that I've promoted Wendell Shirley, over to my right, to serve as Bellevue's next chief of police. Just by way of background, Chief Shirley joined the department in 2021 after a nationwide search where we were recruiting an assistant police chief. Since Chief Shirley arrived in Bellevue, he's reached out and engaged the community on policing issues such as use of force, as well as identifying new and effective ways in responding to individuals with behavioral health and non-criminal issues by way of the department's Community Crisis Assistance Team, also known as our CCAT pilot program. He's also been involved in neighborhood issues and crime, and he's been leaning heavily into that. So in finalizing my decision, I kept coming back to 3 major points. 1, I firmly believe he can continue to keep our neighborhoods safe. 2nd, he will provide officers the tools they need to be successful in their jobs. And 3rd, Chief Shirley will continue building and creating stronger community relationships.
I am fully aware of the duties and responsibilities that I've taken on, and I promise you'll get my best every single day. So thank you, sir. To the City Council and City Leadership Team, thank you for your support, and I am privileged to become a part of this city's team. To the women and men of the Bellevue Police Department, officers and civilian staff, it is an honor to work alongside you. You are some of the most dedicated and passionate public safety personnel in terms of keeping this community safe. And my pledge to you is to do what any great leader would do, and that is to put you in the best position to succeed. To the wonderful Bellevue community, and to those that I have met along the way who have been very, very supportive, I am honored to be called your police chief, and you have my word. I will continue to listen and engage this community and focus on what's important to you in the true spirit of community policing in terms of keeping this community safe for those that live, work, and visit the city of Bellevue.
Thank you, Chief Shirley. We appreciate your leadership. Next, we probably all realize how important it is to be prepared in an emergency, but how many of us can say we actually are prepared? Next, our city's emergency manager, Carl Lunak, will help us get motivated to prepare ourselves, and Lieutenant Camry Olson of Bellevue Fire will show us exactly what we need to get ourselves and our families ready to respond in an emergency.
One of the great parts about living here in the Pacific Northwest is we have a beautiful environment, but that comes with a lot of natural hazards, right? We live in earthquake country, which is one of those major disasters that most of us think about. But we also have all kinds of other weather-related type of emergencies that arise, things from snowstorms, wind events, flooding, landslides. It's really a pretty long list. My name is Carl Lunak, and I'm the emergency manager here for the city of Bellevue. My primary job responsibilities as the emergency manager is to prepare city staff and residents to be ready and prepared for an emergency, and then to coordinate a response and our recovery efforts. No matter how great of a job the city does in preparing staff and first responders for emergencies, it really requires that the community as a whole prepare for emergencies. There just aren't enough first responders to cover every scenario and every situation. Each of us can do just a number of kind of simple, easy steps to be prepared and ready for when disaster strikes. Planning is one of those easy steps that we can all do to prepare for an emergency. It's a great place to start because, well, it's free. It just takes a little bit of your time to get going. One of the biggest challenges on all emergencies is communication. So starting with a basic communication plan can be incredibly helpful in the middle of a disaster. That communication plan, we've got links from our website that you can go to pull up a template and fill it out, but it's basically capturing contact information, email addresses, all those different ways that we communicate. The next planning piece to that is just putting together a plan for you and your loved ones. What are you going to do if you have to stay home and stay secluded? A lot of us learned how to do that over the COVID response, what life was like kind of staying home. Most of us have enough supplies and things in our homes to be comfortable for a period of time on our own, but to take that a step further, when you have a plan in place and you have supplies already set, it really allows you to calm yourself and take some time, look over your plan and respond much more rationally rather than in a panic sort of mode. When it comes to preparing emergency supplies at home, there's a couple of different kits or ways to look at it. One is if you can stay in your home, that is obviously preferable. The general recommendation is to be prepared for 2 weeks to be on your own or not have outside assistance. The second type of supply that we often talk about is an emergency kit to go, or a grab and go bag, or an evacuation bag. It's what you need to be able to have on hand so you can grab it in an emergency on short notice, leave your home, and at least have a handful of basic supplies to kind of get you through. Lieutenant Camry Olson is going to demonstrate and walk us through a sample kit to talk about some of the specifics that you want to include in your grab-and-go kit.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Camry Olson, and I am the Public Information Officer with the Bellevue Fire Department. And as Carl mentioned, one of the important things that you need to have is a go kit. And there's some general things to remember about these go kits before we get into specifics of what kind of supplies you want in your go kit. You might want several different kinds of go kits, and so there's the one that you're going to grab leaving your house. So we're thinking about the big disaster, your house is not safe to be in anymore. You're going to have to grab some supplies in a hurry that you've prepared ahead of time in this go kit. You might want to have one at work too. You may get stuck at work, so you might want to have a smaller go kit that you keep at work. And then lastly, it's always a good idea to have some supplies in your car. You never know when you're going to get stranded during a storm, or there's a huge collision that happens that strands you for a while. So it's good to have one in your car. When we're talking about the one that we keep in our house that you're going to take, think about having supplies that are going to last you for 2 weeks, and that is your entire family. So that is a long time. The things that we're going to go through today are just samples of things that you're going to have. This is in no way a kit that's going to last 2 full weeks, but that's what you're going to want, is supplies that are going to last you that long. And then think about it being very personalized to your family. So every Go Kit is going to look different because some of us have little children at home, some of us have pets, some of us take care of our grandparents. And so Go Kits need to be tailored individually to each situation. So let's talk about some of the supplies that you want. And one thing that I had heard is to think about, hey, if you're going to go out camping, what are all the things you're going to need to take from your home to last out there on a camping trip out in the wilderness? One of the first necessities is water. So you're going to want a supply of water, and there's several different ways to have that. There's the individual bottles like we see here, and make sure you have enough to last again for every member of your family for that 2 weeks. They also have bigger containers that you can store a larger amount of water in one container. So there's lots of different options when you look at water. One of our next basic necessities is going to be food. And here we have just granola bar, simple things that you can throw in this Go Kit to take with you. They can be snacky foods like granola bars. I personally really like Pop-Tarts and don't eat them normally. I'd probably have those in my Go Kit. You can have non-perishable items. We all love cheese, but cheese would not be a good thing to have for your Go Kit. But macaroni and cheese is a perfect one. So you could have macaroni and cheese, other box things, canned goods, soups, stews, things like that that can be hearty and filling, and again, that can feed your whole family. You need something to eat the food with. So we've got these little compact kind of emergency preparedness utensils. You need some bowls, plates, some glasses or little cups. And don't go for the paper plates and things like that. Go for things that can be reused. And so they can be a little bit more compact for your Go Kit, and you can wash them every day. I know for me, not a day goes by that I don't wake up and have coffee in the morning. So even though this may not be a necessity for everybody, for some of us it is. So you can pack your coffees, your teas, your sugar to go with it. Always good to think about a supply like that. And then our pets. So if we have to escape with our dogs, our cats, our birds, they need food too. So make sure you have a supply for them in your Go Kit as well. When we talk about canned goods, can opener. It's always good to have a can opener on hand. And these are nice and compact, not the big kind fancy that we keep in our house, but have a can opener ready. So those are kind of the basic necessities, but we might need shelter and warmth. So you can have maybe a small tent in your Go Kit, thin sleeping bags. I wouldn't take the big poofy ones. They take up a lot of room. There are these emergency blankets that can help you stay warm. You may even just wrap these up around yourself in your car. Your car may end up being your shelter. There's other things, these little hand warmers and foot warmers that they sell in any outdoor stores. These are really helpful to have around. Good clothing, nice warm jackets, warm shirts, boots. It's good to have some really sturdy either boots or shoes in your Go Kit. I keep some even in my car. You just never know if you're driving around, running errands, and you're in flip-flops, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a big collision. You have to get out of your car. There's glass everywhere, so keep some sturdy boots or shoes in your Go Kit as well as in your car. A tarp can be really helpful. This could actually end up being what you sleep on and then get something else to cover you. Another necessary item to talk about is sanitation. Stacks of toilet paper. You need to make sure you have enough toilet paper with you. A thing that can be helpful is if, again, you're having to leave your house, is to have buckets and some kitty litter. You can actually use that as a makeshift toilet. You also want to have something to wash your hands with, so those sanitation wipes or even the gel that we are all used to using right now. So just a good supply of sanitation materials. Some more important supplies that we want to think about are things that are for our first aid and health. So a little first aid kit, this one's pretty small, but I recommend having a decent first aid kit in your Go Kit. And then we might need our medications and even vitamins. And so you can pack those in these containers, and I recommend in your house, we can't keep a supply of our medication in the Go Kit, have them readily accessible. So if you have to leave in a hurry, you can throw them in. A toothbrush and some toothpaste, these little compact ones. There's even a little small thing of toothpaste in there. For those of us that may need glasses or reading glasses, have your glasses supplied. Other people, it may be dentures. You need to take your dentures, your hearing aids, any other things that you need to get by, your other medications if you're diabetic, to have those things ready to go. Then there's another category of just generally some tools and supplies like that. So duct tape is always handy in the home and in your Go Kit to have. We have a 5-piece breakaway knife set that's pretty compact. No Go Kit is complete without some sort of light. Here's a flashlight that's battery operated. So for any electronics, including flashlights, make sure you have an extra supply of batteries included in the Go Kit. Another kind of flashlight is this one that is powered by a hand crank. So you wind it up, and then you can turn it on, and it lasts for a short time, but then you just keep cranking it up. A radio is really useful to have. You can tune in and try to get updates on the status of the emergency that you're involved in right now. Some other supplies, some rope, work gloves. So you want warm gloves. We talked about those earlier, but you also want to have some work gloves. And in the home, in your Go Kit, if you have to leave the home because it's been damaged, it's a good idea to turn off the utilities. And so one of these multi-use tools is really handy to have in that Go Kit. We all have our electronic devices that we're going to hopefully have on us. And part of what Carl talked about earlier was a communications plan. So there may be somebody who lives out of state that you need to connect with. So we want to be able to power our electronic devices for that emergency communications. So this is an extra charger that we can plug into. There's all different kinds available out there. One of the necessities these days, anywhere you go, in a disaster or not, are the N95 masks. So have some kind of supply of masks available for your whole family to be able to use. So these are kind of the necessities, but this is going to be a very stressful situation for the whole family. And so there's some items that kind of fall into that comfort category, entertainment, comforting items. And so a lot of us are readers. I know my favorite author is James Herriot. I'm going to make sure I have a supply of books because I can read these over and over again. Somebody else may want a different kind of book. Games for the family to play. There's card games are easy to pack up. For the little ones, you may have a coloring book and crayons for them to play with. And it can be even as simple as a favorite family photo that just makes us happy to look at in this stressful time. I know for me, I'm a big Seahawks fan, and I thought about, should I throw in my 12th man flag in my Go Kit? And I thought, let's make it a little bit more useful, and I can cover warmth and comfort at the same time by throwing in my Seahawks blanket. So these are just some general ideas, and again, there's some points to remember that you need supplies for 2 weeks. You need to make sure your whole family, including your pets, are covered in these supplies. Go through it every 6 months so you can rotate out the food and the water, and just ensure that you know what's in there, and talk about these things with your family and have that plan ahead of time. One of the things that to remember when you're assembling all of these supplies is that you're going to need something to put it in and transport it. And one example that we have is this tote that you can see under the table. You want something that's just easy to grab. It's nice when it has wheels and a handle that you can just wheel it out, but really whatever works best for you. So lastly, I want to thank everybody for wanting to be prepared. And as you're assembling your Go Kits, there is some great information out there. And one website that is fantastic with lots of great information about Go Kits as well as other disaster preparedness is ready.gov. And we do link to that on the City of Bellevue's emergency management page. So again, thank you for wanting to be prepared and be safe out there.
Thank you, Carl and Camry, for showing us how we can all be prepared for an emergency. Thank you also to Mayor Robinson and Deputy Mayor Neuenhaus for joining us today to share your visions for our city. Your leadership is among the many reasons Bellevue's the city where we want to be. That's the end of our show today. If you have any feedback or questions for us, email us anytime at btv@bellevuewa.gov. Also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for our latest video news and information. I'm Robin Steele. From all of us at Bellevue Television in the City of Bellevue, thank you for watching Lake to Lake.